All right, so Record of Ragnarok chapter 99, and this chapter is a bit on the shorter side. So maybe next month we get 99.2. It could be possible, or what we all are waiting for, chapter 100. But chapter's still great. We're still going to talk about it. But first things first, as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video. Stay on this side of the algorithm and be part of the Record of Ragnarok community. Let's go. First thing we see is Heimdall riding into the arena on this bird. He's dressed and outfitted in winter attire, and the arena looks very similar to what we normally see. But rest assured, the stage for this fight is anything but the status quo. Heimdall says, 5 victories for the gods, 5 victories for humanity. In advance and retreat, a seesaw game that puts humanity's survival at stake. There are no more than 3 rounds left. Side eye at that comment, given that for all humanity's fighters to be able to fight, there has to be a draw, which would mean there would be 4 rounds left. But I'm not going to get into all the intricate details of that in this video. I've talked about it ad nauseum. So if you watch enough of my videos, you'll see the in-depth breakdown for why that's the case. Not saying it has to happen, but if it doesn't happen, every human on humanity's roster will not fight. Finally, the 11th round is upon us. Are we on the brink of victory, or is it humanity's checkmate? To whom has been entrusted of saving humanity is this man. As we get this epic shot of Simo and his dog walking up, shadowy figure, silhouette in the damn snow. We got it, guys. We got the snowy forest map that I've been calling for in all my prediction videos. We got it. As Heimdall continues, the year is 1939, the Winter War. The Soviet army began its invasion of Finland, and at that moment, a single farmer calmly picked up his rifle and faced the invaders. They were threatening his beloved Finland. With beautiful forests and land, he faced them with fire. He stopped the invasion of 1 million Soviet soldiers with his bullets and terror. I think that might be a little bit of an exaggeration. With his bullets and the terror he instigated, at the Kala River defensive line, with only 32 soldiers backing him, 4,000 Soviet troops were defeated. So not 1 million, 4,000. His accuracy was 100%, a really precise hit. Maybe they meant like the terror he caused stopped the 1 million strong in the war. I'm not really sure. This translation might be a little bit rough though, so if there's any notable updates, we'll talk about it in a separate video after this. All the targets caught in his iron sights fell without fail. He alone spilled the blood of 542 enemies in the snow. The strongest sniper in human history. They call him the White Death. Simo Hayha. Great shots of Simo. He looks awesome as always. And at this point, he's up on this perch, like this hill or mountain, and he puts his hand out and he says, wait. He tells his dog, I'll be back soon. Leaves him at the entrance to the battlefield. Same way Kukulin did in Apocalypse of the Gods. So a lot of people were worried that the dog may die. You may rest easy now knowing that the dog did not go into the battlefield with him. I guess it's always possible he can enter like Lubu's Red Horse did, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. We'll see though. With that, Simo crosses the bridge. As some of the gods in the crowd are saying, hey, what's this field? It's snowing. Where are we? Some soldiers are saying it looks familiar. That beautiful birch forest. Absolutely, that birch forest. This is our home. They're Finnish soldiers. It's the forest of Finland. We get this epic shot of the battlefield. It is truly epic, dude. I couldn't have asked for a better battlefield for this fight. The stage for round 11 will feature the first open air arena in Ragnarok history. So it's not actually in the arena. It's taking place around the arena. So it makes me question, like, was Simo just walking around the arena, walking around the battlefield before the actual fight began? Because like we saw some of these animals in last chapter with his Valkyrie looking for him. So I think he was potentially scoping out the landscape, which could be devious for what we're about to see, because it is the surrounding area around the arena. They're going to broadcast the fight with the animals. So the animals are animatronic robots, I guess, probably because they might get shots that they don't want to kill all these animals potentially. But that's how the people in the crowd are going to see the fight. They have birds, they have cameras, they have microphones in the wildlife. So that's how it's going to be broadcast. In the arena, it's a world apart, completely immune to any outside influence. Even the weather, which changes all the time, has been perfectly recreated with the power of the gods. What's more, the details of the fight will be captured by aerial vision cameras, and the sound will be transmitted in real time thanks to high precision microphones installed on the animals. On the stadium's huge multiple screens, all the action will be broadcast in the stadium. And the screens look cool. It even looks like they're like part of like a cabin or whatever. I just like the design of it. But all that's actually in the physical arena are these giant monitors for people to watch. Heimdall continues and says, by the way, the one who chose this battlefield was Simo. Oh wait, I'm mistaken. It wasn't him. The 11th representative of the gods is that god, the most evil and cunning of the Norse pantheon. As this is happening, there's a song playing. It's Richard Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries, and what's funny about this, I saw a comment where somebody said this song was playing when Hilda saved Siegfried's parents, and if that's true, if like Loki chose this because of that, that could even be more of a dig toward Hilda, because it's like, you wanted to save Siegfried, right? You're gonna see what I do because you choose Siegfried over me. That might just be a little thing that the author put in there, but I don't know, it's a pretty cool detail if true. The most evil and cunning though of the Norse pantheon, I don't know about that because that man Odin looks devious, but nevertheless, that's what's stated. He deceives the gods, he seduces them, he betrays them. What he wants is chaos. What he brings about is the destruction of the world itself. The enigmatic and versatile court jester finally takes off his veil and takes the stage to fight. We get this panel of Loki descending down to the landscape. We obviously know he can kind of float or fly, so this is cool. This might be the first person we're seeing that can actually fly. He takes off the veil in this really cool scene. We actually get a shot of Aphrodite and Shiva. We haven't seen Aphrodite in a while. Aphrodite says, "Oh, what a seductive dance." And Shiva's like, I don't like his dancing style. The trickster god, the most cunning and fearsome of the heavens, Loki, yells Heimdall. Most cunning and fearsome is big time hype, if true. We see Loki extend his arms to his side on the big screen as Brunhilde watches on and says, "Master Loki." Some of the people in the crowd say, "At last, Master Loki has appeared. What a sinister aura he has. I wonder what fate awaits this human." We actually get a shot of Forseti, the guy that was in the crowd for Thor in round 1, and he says if Lord Loki fights, another calamity will surely befall him. Scary, really scary. We cut to Zeus, who's flanked by Ares and Hermes, where Ares says, what could Loki be up to, choosing an arena where the enemy is strongest. So yes, if you didn't catch the drift already, Loki chose the arena, it was not Simo. Loki's just on that kind of timing, man. Knowing him, I don't think he'd do anything to harm himself, says Hermes. There must be some purpose behind this. Ares says seriously, he's always been an eccentric god, and Zeus says yes. Loki's strength is truly something out of the ordinary. Ares says out of the ordinary, and Zeus says even if the enemy can surpass Loki in combat power, for some reason, he's always the one left standing in the end. Big time hype, and we get this picture of somebody Loki defeated. I'm not sure who that is. Let me know in the comments below who you think that is in the panel. Ares then says, now that you mention it, that may be true. If Thor is the supreme berserker of the Norse pantheon, then he is the faceless assassin Loki. Brunhilde then says Master Loki looks down a little bit and sweat draws on her face. By the way, the round is about to start. Where is Goal, she thinks to herself. Of course, we know Goal is down in Tartarus with Nostradamus, so we're going to have to get a moment where Goal returns, talks to Hilda about what happened, all of that. She might even miss this whole fight, especially given that's on the monitor, so maybe that will all take place after this round. We'll see. We get this far-reaching pan-out shot of the mountain landscape behind the forest, and we see that Simo is already perched on this mountain. He's on a log, and he is in between some trees as cover. He's ready to snipe. He's got his iron sight loaded up. Down the barrel, he sees and pinpoints Loki. Now I'm thinking, well, he could probably take the shot right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But he's got the sights on Loki, and Loki has this horn in his hand. He says, as he seemingly looks directly through Simo's heart from all this distance, does this make you feel nostalgic? Reminiscent of the hell you were in, isn't it? But there's no need to worry. It'll all be over soon. As we see, out of Loki's palms emerges this dark mist. So we've been talking about his palms are the key to his power. We saw chains come out, we saw the rose come out. What else is he gonna be able to call forth from his palms? Now we see this dark mist coming out, and it seems that he's being enveloped in darkness. The crowd is totally confused. They're like, what's going on? Loki's being enveloped in darkness, black mist, what the hell? We get all this mist covering him, shrouding him, and these silhouettes emerge next to Loki. Meanwhile, Simo's unfazed, just looking down the barrel. We see this sandal on a foot. We see what looks to be Odin behind, and then we get this awesome panel of Hercules, Odin, and Thor all flanking Loki. This is insane. One of the craziest panels in this series so far. It's very reminiscent of when Loki had the 7 lucky gods flanking him, but this is a much more imposing force behind him. Now, of course, Hercules is dead. Thor and Odin are alive, but they're not physically there. It seems that he has conjured some kind of clone or copy of all these fighters. What I find super interesting is that Hercules is one of them. I think Odin and Thor make a lot of sense, but Hercules didn't seem like he had the closest relationship to him. Is this more of a shot at Hilda? because she probably had the closest relationship to him amongst the guys that were defeated, as she cried very profoundly when he died, and she chose the worst possible matchup for him, is using Hercules a little bit of an adding insult to injury thing, where he's like, you're gonna have to see this man that you betrayed effectively. When these figures appear, we get a shot of Hilda, who's stunned, Zeus, Ares, and Hermes, who are stunned. Zeus actually gets up from his seat, and my favorite reaction was actually Jack the Ripper, because if you remember in his round, he had grown to really like Hercules by the end of the fight, and he actually kind of felt bad after killing him. Jack said something along the lines of he wishes he could see Hercules once more and talk with him. So him seeing Hercules once more in this context has got to be a crazy bastardization. I can't wait to see his dialogue as the fight continues, especially because Loki's supposed to be a trickster, so there could be great dialogue from Jack. The crowd is stunned as they show this shot of all three figures. They're like, what's that? And Loki says, I'm sorry for you, but I still can't die. That's why you must be the one who falls here. As he sends out these three monstrous beings, Odin, Hercules, and Thor, to hunt Simo, as Simo stares back, looking through his scope, calm, cool, and collected, ready for the war. So I really like this idea because it gives Simo targets that aren't Loki for him to shoot. So obviously these clones or whatever they aren't going to be as strong as the actual people they represent. And it's probably going to be a stage-based thing where he has to defeat each and every one of them with great shots. So we're going to get to see Simo hit some awesome shots or take out these people in a different variety of ways. We have no telling on who else could potentially be summoned, or if these are the only three summonings that we are going to get. No idea what Loki's going to be doing as Simo is fighting with these things. Is he also going to be on the attack? That's what makes the most sense to me. No matter what we get, I am sure that this is going to be one of the most entertaining rounds of the tournament. I can't wait for it. I think that the stage is beautiful. The premise of this is going to be truly unique to Record of Ragnarok. He's gonna have to make his way through Hercules, Odin, and Thor before he can even get to Loki by the end of it. Can't wait. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. As always though, drop a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the Apocalypse of the Gods Chapter 9 breakdown. That'll be the next video up on the channel. I'll see you guys then. Peace.